Hi, welcome to this Blender video tutorial entitled World Editor Background Image. In addition to creating a background colored sky and texture, Blender's World Editor allows users to add a background image to the rendering. To demonstrate Blender's World Background Image controls, I've placed a UV sphere image in my Blender scene. The sphere is textured to resemble a baseball. The scene is lit with a sun lamp at a minus 45-degree angle and a hemi-lamp at a positive 45-degree angle with a very low energy level. My scene camera is constrained to look at the baseball object, and it's focused directly along the y-axis. I'll render the scene. The render displays the baseball object surrounded by the default Blender background. To edit this background, I'll click on the World icon located in the Properties panel, which displays all of the World controls. Once in the World Editor, and with nothing selected in the 3D viewport, I'll click on the Texture Context icon located in the Properties panel. I will press on the New Texture button and select Image or Movie as the texture type. I'll press on the Open button and select the Fenway JPEG image located on my desktop and click on Open. I'll switch the preview to World. Note that the default gray background sky is displayed. I'll scroll down to the Influence panel. Here the default texture is assigned to the Blend Sky Colors. I will uncheck the Blend Influence and check the Horizon Influence. Note now that in the preview plane we see the image of Fenway Park. Note also that I'm using the default View mapping coordinates. I'll go back to the World Editor. Here we see that the same image is in the World preview. I'll render the scene. The baseball object is rendered with Fenway Park image in the background. However, we see only a small part of the image. I'll go back to the texture editor. In the image panel, we can see that the image is quite large, 2,304 pixels by 1,728 pixels. I can, in effect, zoom out on this image by increasing the size setting in the mapping panel. I'll set the X and Y size settings to 3 and render the scene. The background image is now too small, and as a result it's tiled or repeated. To correct this, I'll lower the X and Y size settings in the mapping panel to 2.3 and then render the scene. Now the background image appears to be sized properly. Most images used in this manner will need to be sized to properly fit the rendered background size. The image can be offset using the offset controls in the mapping panel. If you're using a seamless texture image, you may want to use the repeat and clipping controls found in the image mapping panel down below. As long as the influence is set to horizon, and none of the sky-type checkboxes are checked in the World Editor, the background image should render as expected. Using the World Editor to display a background image does have its limitations. It works well for a static image, but it may be problematic if used in an animation. With the World Sky settings unchecked, and the image influence set to horizon, the background image is displayed the same, no matter where the camera is focused. Here I will focus my camera below the horizon and render the scene. The background image remains the same. Here I will point my camera upwards and to the side of the baseball object and render the scene. The background image remains the same. The World Editor has very few controls for editing the look and feel of a background image. Blender has a more advanced compositing node system that allows background images to be incorporated into the rendering with a wide variety of image editing controls.